We are starting with two breaking news stories. Thank you so much for joining us on 9 News at Noon. I'm Anusha Roy. We have known that the Alexander Mountain fire in Larimer County was human caused, and today we've now learned that there has been an arrest in that investigation. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office has not released details yet, but we do know there is a news conference with the U.S. Forest Service that is scheduled to start in just about an hour. The Alexander Mountain fire started July 29th on a ridge west of Loveland. It ended up burning more than 9,000 acres and then destroyed nearly 30 homes. We're going to have coverage from this afternoon's news conference online and then on air starting at 3 o'clock. Also, today, emergency crews have been on the scene of a small plane that crashed on a Douglas County golf course. There were 2 people who were on board. South Metro Fire says that Cessna took off from Centennial Airport. Then it ended up going down on the 7th hole of Meridian Golf Course around 9:45 this morning. The FAA is investigating. South Metro Fire says both people in the plane were okay. One person had minor injuries, but then ended up turning down treatment.
They don't just fall out of the sky at all. You know, I mean, something led to this crash landing and this crash on the golf course that NTSB and FAA will investigate, but this is not a common occurrence.
There was another plane that had crashed upside down on that same golf course. That was nearly a year ago on September 2nd of last year. It was a bird strike that caused that plane to go down on the course. 2 people were on board and they were not hurt. New at noon, Lake County schools are closed today because of safety concerns. A letter was posted on the district's website saying the concerns started to show up yesterday afternoon, then continued into the night and then early morning, but did not elaborate beyond that. School and activities are canceled for the day. We are working to get more details. We want to give you a live look outside from Lookout Mountain. We are watching for storms today. We've got Keely Chalmers here with us today, and we're watching for storms and just the slightest bit of a cool down.
Yeah, temperatures cooling down into the upper 80s, still about 5 degrees warmer than normal for this time of the year. We're already seeing increasing clouds, and yes, we do have a chance for some of those isolated showers and storms to rumble through this afternoon. Taking a live look outside, out over downtown Denver. Clearly seeing those clouds increase. Current temperatures were already up to 80 degrees out at DIA, 82 in Greeley. We're up to 83 degrees in Fort Collins. We're looking at 60s and 70s in the high country. Partly cloudy again right now, although clouds will increase. We'll see mostly cloudy skies by this evening. And again, a 40% chance for an afternoon shower or storm. Our forecast high, 87 degrees. Our normal high for this time of the year is right around 82 degrees. So again, 5 degrees above normal. We're going to stay above normal temperature-wise as we head through the week. Forecast highs, 80s, low 90s across the plains, 70s once again up in the high country. Your weather headlines again, those storms in the forecast for this afternoon producing not just some brief downpours as well as some lightning flashes and claps of thunder, but the winds, that's going to be a big issue, not just today, but into tomorrow. We do have an increasing fire danger both this afternoon in some areas of the state and for the metro area tomorrow, and warm and dry into next week. Our next best chance for some showers and storms after this weekend coming up in your full forecast.
Andrew Anthony Abate.
Vincent Paul Abate.
Today, as we do each year, we're hearing the names of the people who lost their lives on this day in 2001. It has now been 23 years since 9/11. So many of us remember exactly what we were doing, where we were when we heard and we saw the horror of the planes hitting the World Trade Center towers, the Pentagon, and then one going down in a Pennsylvania field. That's thanks to a group of heroes. We watched as the Twin Towers collapsed and crews started digging for any survivors. In all, 2,977 people were killed. So every year on this day, we hold ceremonies at each of those spots. And while we may be in the middle of an election battle, this morning, it was just hours after the bitterness of the debate, the 2 presidential candidates put aside their differences, shaking hands, and then coming together to mark this day. President Biden was also at Ground Zero along with other politicians. Firefighters from across the metro area put on all of their gear this morning to head up 110 flights of stairs, similar to crews who rushed up the Twin Towers to rescue anyone that they could. Courtney Yoon was there for that event.
Earlier this morning, 343 firefighters gathered here at 1801 California in downtown Denver for a memorial climb. 343 represents the number of firefighters who died on 9/11 saving lives. While climbing the steps, firefighters held a photo of a fallen hero. Firefighters from 13 states and all across Colorado climbed up 110 flights of stairs today to represent the 110 floors of the World Trade Center. This event started 20 years ago, back in 2005, when a group of firefighters got together to train and remember. Now there are memorial climbs all across the country. Oren Bersagle-Breeze, one of the organizers of this event and training division chief for Castle Rock Fire Rescue, says the lives lost on 9/11 is a tragedy still felt today.
Most firefighters now weren't on the job in 2001, and almost 100 million Americans weren't born on 2001. And so it's important that we keep this in the public conscience, it's important that we keep it in the fire service conscience, and it's important that we continue to tell the story of what we consider to be the greatest rescue mission ever told.
In the last week, 32 names have been added to that list of 343 firefighters who either died on 9/11 or from a related disease or illness. Now, this event today is first and foremost a memorial event, but it also raises money for the New York City Fire Department Counseling Services Unit and also for the National Fallen Firefighters Association. Over the last 20 years, they've raised around $12 million, which goes directly back to serve those FDNY families and survivors. In Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
And even more firefighters from Colorado and community members took part in another climb, this time at Red Rocks. They'll also climb the equivalent of the 110 stories of the World Trade Center. That was 9 laps around the amphitheater. Testimony in the King Soopers trial continued this morning, and jurors saw and heard the moment that police had ordered the shooter to surrender. Ahmad Alissa killed 10 people, including a Boulder police officer, after attacking the store on March 22, 2021. Another Boulder police officer then shot him in the leg, and the man eventually put down his weapons and stripped to his boxer shorts in surrender. At that point, a SWAT team was in the store and then ordered him to give up. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates is in the courtroom, and he will have more this afternoon. That is starting at 9 News at 3. The dentist from Aurora, who's accused of poisoning his wife, killing her, is in court this afternoon. James Craig not only faces murder charges, but also tampering with evidence. Prosecutors added a 3rd count of tampering with evidence in July, but he has not appeared in court for that new charge yet. That hearing is scheduled for today at 4 o'clock. A controversial Colorado district attorney is being disbarred and losing her job. The state made that decision yesterday about Linda Stanley, who oversaw the murder case against Barry Morphew. Stanley is the Republican district attorney in Chaffee, Fremont, Park, and Custer counties. She brought charges against Barry Morphew, who was accused of killing his missing wife, Suzanne Morphew, in May of 2020. Stanley dropped the charges against Barry just days before the trial started. Complaints filed against her accused her of making inappropriate comments about that case to the media. They also say that she showed up late to court and then launched a secret investigation into the judge in the case because she didn't like his rulings. A judge in a separate case had to dismiss charges against a man accused of killing a 10-month-old baby after Stanley did an interview with our partner KRDO in Colorado Springs, where she disparaged the suspect. The decision to disbar Stanley refers to her dereliction of duty. It said she abused her position of trust and that she must be disbarred.